My peoples. We already know what happened with Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. All the controversy, the knee, the turning his back on them, the quote unquote grease in his eyes. Video came out of Tank Davis trying to bite Lamont Roach. All that stuff, we already seen it. We already spoke about it. So what's next? Well, it's supposed to be a rematch, right? We're all expecting a rematch to take place. And Lamar Roach was on the It Is What It Is podcast with Mace and Cameron. And he said, listen, my side of the contract is already signed, sealed, and delivered. We just waiting on the other side. In other words, Tank Davis hasn't signed his side of the contract to make the rematch happen. It's supposed to happen on June. Well, the date that has been reported is June 21st. My birthday, by the way. So, what's going on with Tank Davis' side? I seen on Blue Blood Sports, shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV, he said that, he's heard information about Tank's team or PBC advising him not to take the rematch. They want him to pursue a fight versus Lomachenko. It seems like something is up because why wouldn't he have already signed his side of the contract? That's the magic question. JJ's in there. Good morning, Jay Smith. Happy Friday. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. What's the deal, my brother? Good morning to you as well. Oh, we want to enjoy them fights. You already know what it is, man. I'm going to be calling it live. I'm going to be calling the Scott Nicholson versus Tierra Brown fight. I'm going to be calling the Fundora fight. And I'm going to be calling George Kambosos fight. So I'm going to be live on YouTube, my peoples. Y'all got to check it out. Y'all got to see what the fuzz is all about. When I call them fights, it's just a different ball game. R30, my guy, good luck getting Tank to sign any rematch. I mean, we got to see how it plays out because you got to remember that right after the fight finished, one of the first things that Tank Davis said is, I want a rematch. He said it himself. Now, after the adrenaline wore out, could he have, decided, damn, it's not the best for me to take this rematch? I don't know. But he hasn't signed. R30, Tank ready to move on, and that's crazy. A fight like that, the type of controversy that we saw, the way that it played out, and for him to be ready to move on and fight someone else without a definitive outcome, this guy won or this guy won, with controversy, you move on. Listen, if Tank Davis don't rematch Lamar Roach, this fight is going to hunt him for the rest of his career. It's going to. Because at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of people say that they felt Lamar Roach won this fight. We already know about the knee situation. We already know the New York State Athletic Commission said it was a mistake and there should have been a point deduction. He would have lost that fight with that point deduction. So we have to see how this plays out. D Towers. Yo, I'm going to subscribe now. I've been looking for your channel, bro. Blessing. Ooh, D Towers, I appreciate you, my guy. You already know what it is, man. We talking that real boxing talk right here. I promise you, once we done with this live, check out some of the videos, and you see that we coming with the realness. Coming with the realness and with the just fire content, bro. Today, I already dropped a couple of videos for y'all, so you gotta check that out. And I'm going to be live on YouTube for all them fights on Saturday. Y'all got to see how I'll be calling them. It's something different, my people. So I call it a different brand of boxing. D Towers, hell yeah. This is my kind of conversation here. You know it, my guy. You know it. Angry Mexicans, let women fight, man. Clarissa versus Nick Ball. Come on, man. We don't want women versus men. We want men. We want fair competition. Men versus men, women versus women. That's fair competition right there. JJ Zendejas. Good fight this weekend. God bless every fighter that walks into the ring. I agree with you, my brother. Amen to that. We want to see the fighters mix it up. We want to see good action, but at the end of the day, we want to see everyone go home, go back to their family, enjoy their payday, and be okay after the fight. So that's what's up, my brother. I appreciate that. Now, the situation with Tank Davis and Lamont Roach is getting interesting because, like I said before, Lamont Roach was on the It Is What It Is podcast, and he said, "Yo, my side of the contract is already signed, sealed, and delivered. We just waiting on them to sign their side." And I find that interesting because, like I said, man, Tank Davis already stated that he wanted a rematch. So why hasn't he signed? Could Is it a possibility that they're going to backtrack and not make that rematch? We got to see how it plays out. D Towers, do you bet on the fights with sports books? I used to bet on the fights, but after I've been doing more and more content, I don't bet on them. I do make my predictions, which is why I'm Jay Stradamus, by the way. But nah. I don't bet on the fights anymore. John Parham, salute. Salute, my brother. Y'all already know what it is, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share. Share this content. Let the people know that this is where it's at right here. Now, something that I want to point out, my peoples. Lamont Roach stated that he spoke with Shakur Stevenson personally. And Shakur told him, if they don't give you the rematch, I'll give you the fight. And he also said, even before they fought, Shakur told him, if you win, let's make it. Let's unify titles. So Shakur's already spoke to Lamont Roach multiple times to let him know, hey, if they don't give you that rematch, I got you. You got a title shot right here. So Shakur's already on board. Hash Bass, you're right. Tank must rematch Roach. And the crazy thing is, Shakur fans isn't demanding that Shakur give Santos a rematch because the fight was close. There you go with the hate on Shakur. There you go with the hate. And I'm gonna tell you why that's hate on Shakur. How you gonna compare a draw, number one, and number two, a controversy with Tank Davis taking a knee, where he would have lost that fight with a point deduction? How you gonna compare that with Shakur versus De Los Santos just because it was close? Tank Davis versus Roach, it wasn't close. Tank lost that fight. They just gave it to him, stole a point deduction from Lamont Roach. You see the controversy, man. Don't bring up Shakur into this conversation. There's no need for a rematch. Shakur fought this dude with one hand and beat him. Ain't no need for no rematch. Tank needs to rematch Roach because it was a draw. Because it was a controversial draw. Because he took a knee. Because he tried to walk away. He could have even been disqualified. It's not even close to a comparison, my brother. You keep trying to always bring Shakur into the hate that you got for him. And at the end of the day, it's Tank who needs to rematch the guy that he fought to a draw with. Shakur had no draw. He beat that guy. John Parr, supposedly Tank and Haney are going to rematch. Maybe Tank and Haney. I'm not sure. I think you got it confused because Tank and Haney never fought. Tank and Devin Haney never fought, my brother. Punisher, what's up? Good morning. What's the deal, Punisher? Good to have you on, my brother. John Parham, that will be a good defensive fight. JJ Zendejas, I don't think Davis wants a rematch. Too dangerous for Tank. I mean, I find it weird that Lamont Roach already signed his half of the contract. And he's like, yo, we just waiting on them. We just waiting on him. That's odd right there. And it's not going to be a good look. Yo, if Tank Davis decides not to rematch him, that's not going to be a good look. That's not going to be a good look. So Hash Bass, no matter what you bring up about Shakur and De Los Santos, which nobody even cares about that fight, but Tank Davis fans and Shakur haters, it's not going to be a good look for Tank if he run away from the guy who gave him a rematch, who should have beat him if they would have counted the point deduction. That's not a good look. I know y'all going to find a way to defend it. Look, you're already trying to point at Shakur, but look at Shakur. This is about Tank. And Lamont Roach already signed that rematch. Not a good look. JJ Zendejas, I don't think Tank Davis wants a rematch. Arch30, if any fight deserves an automatic rematch, it's the Tank fight. Everyone wants to see it. Of course everyone wants to see it. Hash Bass, same way, give Shakur the fight. And what was so impressive that did in that fight? Who said it has to be impressive? He won. Nobody's talking about being impressive. Tank Davis fought to a draw. He took a knee. Shakur didn't take a knee. Shakur didn't fight to a draw. Everybody's not going around saying that Shakur got beat even without a knee. It's Tank Davis. I know you love to bring that on Shakur to hate on him, but this is about Tank Davis. Forget about Shakur for a minute, my brother. This is about Tank Davis not signing the contract for the rematch. See? So what you have to understand is that Shakur already fought somebody else. Shakur already had another fight after that. And you still talking about it. Tank Davis just fought Roach the other day and said that he wanted a rematch. And now he's not signing the contract? What's going on? What's happening? I don't know what's going on. But I do know, Hash Bass, since you want to say Shakur should give De Los Santos a rematch and you want to keep beating that same old drum that nobody's even talking about but you, I'm going to just remind you right now what I said earlier in case you wasn't here yet. Shakur Stevenson said, yo, Roach, if Tank Davis don't want to give you the rematch, I got you with a title shot. The same guy that Tank Davis might actually duck for a rematch, Shakur's ready to fight him. What do you got to say about that? Shakur's telling Roach, I got you. They don't want to fight you, I got you. Come fight me. And by the way, Lamont Roach said it out of his own mouth that Shakur told him, if you beat Tank, let's unify titles. I got you. See? Punisher. Tank needs to rematch Roach. Next, no other fight makes sense right now. That's a fact. Everybody's calling for that rematch. We all know what happened. We all know what happened in that first fight. And we know who should have won. So Roach is ready and confident. JJ's in there. Roach is very confident. That's why he signed the rematch already. Quick. They put them documents in front of him. He was like, boom, let's get it. And now Tank Davis is not signing a rematch. And Hash Bash want to talk about Shakur. Damn, come on, Hash Bash. You want to talk about Shakur when your boy ain't signing the rematch for the fight that he just had? Look at that. Hash Bash, maybe it's something in that contract Tank want to change. Now you making up excuses out of thin air. Notice how you make assumptions out of thin air to favor Tank Davis. Let's talk about what we actually know, bro. Stop making stuff up out of thin air to defend Tank Davis. I know you're a Tank Davis fan and you want to rock with him. Tank Davis fans are super loyal to Tank. But let's at least stick to the facts, man. Let's not make stuff up out of thin air, out of nowhere. What I do know for a fact, based on Lamont Roach's own words, is that he signed the contract. Tank Davis hasn't signed his side, and Shakur Stevenson already told him, if they don't give you the rematch, I got you with a title shot. So Hash Bass, let me ask you a question. What do you prefer to see Shakur fight? A rematch with De Los Santos that nobody is asking for, or for him to fight Lamont Roach if Tank Davis duck him? You tell me what's a more interesting fight. A Boogie 616. The fact that Shakur was ducked so much, if he get those fights now and delivers, he has the chance to be the face of boxing. I've been listen, A Boogie. I've been telling people, Shakur being the face of boxing is the inevitable. Now look what Hash Bass says. He says that he prefers Shakur to fight De Los Santos than to fight Lamont Roach. Imagine that. The guy that Tank Davis ducked, or if he ducks him, you don't want to see Shakur beat him? I get it. Because if Shakur goes in there and washes him, then what are you going to be able to say? Damn, this guy put all type of hands on Tank Davis and Shakur washed him. You don't want that to happen. I get you. I understand you, my brother. But literally nobody's calling for Shakur to fight De Los Santos but you. In this whole live, nobody has ever said that. Every time I go live, nobody has ever said that but you, my guy. It's only you. Nobody cares about that fight. Everybody want to see Tank rematch Lamont Roach. And if he don't rematch him, everybody's gonna be down with him fighting Shakur right away. But you're gonna be on a lonely island talking about, nah, I don't want Shakur to fight Roach. I prefer Shakur to rematch De Los Santos. Come on, bro. Are you for real? Don't do that to yourself like that. Hey, Boogie, also, good morning, my brother. Good morning, my G. You know I appreciate you coming through. JJ Zendejas. Boxing fans, tell it how it is when they don't favor a fighter. You already know it, my brother. You already know it. That's why we cannot be biased. You see Hash Bass? Super biased. Super biased defending Tank, making stuff up out of thin air. Well, maybe he wants to change the contract. Super biased. I want Shakur to fight De Los Santos instead of Roach. Super biased. Come on. It don't get more biased than that. Not only that, De Los Santos is already in negotiations to fight Frank the Ghost Martin. So De Los Santos should just forget about Frank Martin and make Hash Bass happy. Nah, let me fight Shakur. I'm trying to make this happen with the Ghost Martin. Come on, bro. Stop it. Corey Wells. I'm done with boxing, period. This Tank Davis fight was horrible. I mean, I wouldn't say it was horrible, my brother. It was actually a very good fight. It was a competitive fight. It's just that they cheated Lamont Roach out of that win. John Parham. We just need Tank and Shakur, in my opinion. We need that fight badly. We need that fight badly. But you see Tank Davis fans giving him an excuse to not fight Shakur. Oh, Shakur's not a big star. Oh, he's not going to get the payday. Oh, it's like, well, what are you talking about? Tank and Shakur is a huge fight. Corey Wells. Tank needs to fight Shakur and get it over with. He needs to fight Shakur, but he ducking him. He ducking him. That's the reality. Whether people agree with me or not, we got to see what's going on. He just don't want to fight Shakur. Hash Bass. Shakur had a choice to fight a fighter that was 21-0 and 19 KOs, but he chose an electrician. Oh, my God, Hash. You still hating on Shakur. You still hating on Shakur. But the bottom line is, Shakur may have a choice to fight Lamont Roach if Tank ducks him. Whatever you're talking about, you made that up out of thin air. Like, you're always making stuff up out of thin air. Shakur's ready to fight all of them. Love More Hinduism. I do like the name Shakira Twitterson. and what's funny about that the real Twitterson is Tank. Because Tank done murdered everybody on Twitter. He done murdered Devin Haney. He done beat up Shakur. He done beat up Teofimo on Twitter. But then in real life, he never sent nobody a contract. He say everything but let's fight. That's the real Twitterson. Punisher. I got to be honest. I wouldn't mind seeing De Los Santos versus Shakur rematch now that De Los Santos will know Shakur is afraid of power. But I'd rather watch Roach versus Shakur first. I mean, if Tank Davis ducks Lamont Roach for this rematch, we're going to see Shakur versus Roach. Roach said it already that Shakur is on board to give him a title shot if he can't get the rematch. So that may actually happen. It may actually happen. R30, Shakur is getting the same ducking treatment Crawford used to get. One day he'll get his shine. That's what I've been telling people. The same way Crawford was ducked at welterweight and nobody wanted to fight him, everybody was pricing themselves out. That's what happened with Shakur. They just don't want to fight him because they know they're going to take that L. They don't want it. The ill will one. Shakur is bigger star than Roach and Frank Martin. Of course. Shakur's a bigger star. The only guy in Tank's resume that's a bigger star than Shakur is Ryan Garcia because he is a big star. He's not accomplished, but he's a big star. But then Pitbull's not a bigger star than Shakur. Who's going to say that? Frank Martin's not a bigger star than Shakur. Lamont Roach is not a bigger star than Shakur. But if you ask Tank Davis fans, for Shakur to fight Tank, he got to sell a lot of pay-per-views and he got to sell out arenas. But none of his opponents was doing that. They only keep that energy for Shakur. That's crazy. That's wild. That's crazy. Corey Wells, it's too much about the money now. Politics. That's facts. John Parham, I don't think Tank afraid of Tank. I think you mean Tank. You don't think Tank is afraid of Shakur, maybe? John Parham, Roach, salute my peoples. Salute everybody. John Parham, if the bag is right, Tank is in. Corey, facts. Ratch, you hear Benavidez want that mandatory with Bivol, no step aside money. Benavidez is trying to get that fight for whatever reason. His Excellency Turkey allows Sheik. He don't want that fight. I think that he doesn't want it because he's not, he's not dealing directly with Benavidez. So I think that's why he don't want it. He want to go to the third fight between Benavidez and as a matter of fact, he already stated that he's not interested in the fight with Benavidez. But Benavidez is not gonna take step aside money. If the sanctioning body mandates it, B-Boy is either gonna have to fight him or drop a belt. That simple. And to be honest, rather than the third fight right away, I prefer to see Benavidez and Bivol. Bivol earned it. Bivol won his fight versus Beterbiev, undisputed. Benavidez has earned that shot. That's my take. JJ's in there. Shakur fights Roach and wins. That will put a lot of pressure on Tank Davis to fight Shakur. Facts. Facts. That's why Tank Davis fans like Hash Bass, like, nah, I don't want him to fight Roach. I want him to fight De Los Santos, not Roach. Because they know if Shakur put the beats on Lamont Roach, now Tank is going to be on the hot seat. Like, look, you fought to a draw, a gifted draw that a lot of people saw you losing. And Shakur beat that ass. Now what you going to say? That's going to put pressure on him. Going to put a lot of pressure on him. A Boogie 616, Garcia versus Davis 2, Cruz versus Davis 2, Rash 2, Keyshawn and Shakur. Damn, yo, you're leaving Shakur for last? Come on, bro. Why you gotta leave Shakur for last like that? Shakur should be next. You don't want to fight Lamar Roach, go fight Shakur. But you're not gonna do that. So Shakur, go ahead and give Lamar Roach a shot. Shy Guy Benavidez ain't ready for Bivol. That's just a matter of opinion, my brother. That's a 50-50 fight. And a lot of people see Benavidez winning it. That's a very close fight. Love more Hinduism. Tan should have gave Pitbull a rematch. I agree. That was close enough and competitive enough to have given him a rematch. But let me tell you something. Tank was going to give Pitbull a rematch. He was planning on giving him a rematch. What happened is Pitbull fumbled the bag when he lost to Rayo Valenzuela. They already had that planned out. Pitbull was going to beat Rayo Valenzuela and they was going to announce a rematch with Tank. It fell through when he lost. It happens in boxing. Pitbull fumbled the bag when he took that L. Rash, Roach is the man right now. That's a fact. Roach is that dude. John Parham, if Pitbull didn't lose that one fight, I think Tank would made it happen. Yeah, Tank, I know Tank is confident in him being able to beat Pitbull. It's just that's it. They fumbled the bag when they took that out. Love more Hinduism. He wanted old man Lomachenko. Facts. They want to, now that Lomachenko is 37 years old, they want to fight him after ducking him for the last 7 years. Punisher, Garcia versus Tank at 140 would be nice. I think that's a good fight. Will we see it? I don't know. We have to. It's a possibility that Tank is willing to move up to 140 to fight Ryan Garcia. Angry Mexican, Tank was never going to rematch Pitbull. You have no proof. Oh, okay, my brother. I don't need no proof. We're just going back and forth over here, and I'm telling you the stuff that was reported. But damn, you are an angry Mexican asking about proof. Punisher, no hydration clause. I agree. I think nobody's down with the hydration clause. It's like if we both made weight, that's it. Make it happen. Let's get it. It's open season once you made weight. That's my opinion. Love more Hinduism. He didn't want the Matrix Loma. Nah, they didn't want it. And you know what? I don't know why people front about that because even Floyd Mayweather said it. You could look up the video on YouTube. Floyd Mayweather specifically said, nah, Lomachenko's, he's getting old. That's why he want to fight fast. We're not in no rush. 5 years later, now they want to fight Lomachenko. Now they like, okay, we ready for you now. Come on, man. I've seen that coming a mile away. Punisher. And I don't know, man. People like watching Pitbull fight every time he fights. The views of the highlights are always massive because the one thing about Pitbull is that he's an exciting fighter. And I do have to say, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but he has that rock'em sock'em robot style. Let's stand here and trade leather and throw bombs. Throw a bunch of bombs, and whoever get caught first, they're gonna be in trouble. Or we're gonna, drop bombs on each other for 12 rounds. That's his fight right there, and people enjoy that style of boxing. JJ's in there. Tanks likes to fight dry out fighters so they will be weak in the ring. I mean, listen, Tank's team, they've been very, very good and very careful with the matchmaking. They know who they pick to fight Tank Davis next. That's why he hasn't fought any of the best in any other divisions that he's been in. Some people believe, oh, Tank was a champion in the 140 division. Meanwhile, he fought Barrios at 140 for a secondary title, while Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion in the division. Like, that's literally a fake title, a Mickey Mouse belt. They smart. They've been smart because they made it to where people consider Tank a 3-division champion, when in 2 of those divisions, he didn't even fight a single reigning champion and got secondary titles. So, it is what it is. They've been real good with their matchmaking to where they made Tank a 3-division champion. And when you really look at the resume, the only reigning champion he beat was Pedraza. He beat Pedraza at 130. Then after that, he didn't beat no reigning champions. A bunch of secondary titles and vacant titles. That's what Tank has been doing. But his fans, they rock with him no matter what. He could fight whoever he want and do whatever he want. They still gonna rock with him. Ratch, I thought Barrios was gonna beat Tank. Damn, I was wrong. Honestly, I didn't think Barrios had a shred of a chance, my brother. I didn't think he even had this little bit of a chance versus Tank Davis. And you know why I tell you that? Bro, Barrios won that secondary title. That's why PBC, they've been so smart with the matchmaking. Barrios won that secondary title versus a guy who had like 9 pro fights, bro. It was vacant, a vacant title, and he fought a guy with 9 pro fights for that belt, for that secondary belt. At that point in his career, Barrios had never even fought in a big venue or been, on a big card. Nothing. And you put him up against Tank Davis, who's already been fighting in big venues, pay-per-view, been on main events. Yo, Barrios was like a deer in a headlight, B. This guy walked up in that ring like, oh my God, I'm really here. He had no chance, bro. And Barrios, he's a good fighter. Don't get it twisted. He's a good fighter. And he won a belt. So I'm not disrespecting him. But all I'm saying is, when he went and fought Tank Davis, he was not ready for that type of action. I felt sure he was going to lose. I was actually expecting him to get knocked out sooner. He actually did very good. He won rounds versus Tank Davis. But he wasn't ready to win a fight like that, of that magnitude. You don't come from out of nowhere and just win that fight. Corey Wells. That's why I'm done with boxing. Stop picking fighters and fights who want that smoke. That's how you become the best. That's the thing. That's why I tell people, listen, Tank could have been the face of boxing. He could have been the face of boxing. But you're not going to become the face of boxing when you're already 30 years old and you're still not fighting any of the best. If you look at the previous faces of boxing. And my peoples, don't forget to hit that like button, man. Damn, I got 11 likes. Why y'all got to do me? I'm not Tank Davis. I'm not fighting. I'm not cherry picking out here. Hit them likes, my peoples. God damn. But you got to think about the faces of boxing, right? Floyd Mayweather fought mad champions. Fought the guys that was the best of his era. You could say that he didn't fight them at the right time, but he fought them. Floyd Mayweather fought the guys. Look at De La Hoya had his run as the face of boxing. For everybody and anybody at all times. You could go all the way back to Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the face of boxing at one point. Fought everybody and anybody. So everybody who's been the face of boxing got there by fighting everybody. You're not going to become the face of boxing cherry picking opponents. You're not. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work that way. A Boogie 616. I remember when Tank said he felt forced into Pedraza fight and he believed in his own skills. I saw when he said that. To me, that was cap. That was 100% cap. If you go back to that fight, just check it out. Pedraza was the damn underdog. Tank was the heavy favorite to knock him out. So maybe Tank felt like, you know what, they trying to shit on me, putting me up against this champion. But come on, bro, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what the optics were. Everybody was expecting Pedraza to lose that fight. Pedraza's never been a pound-for-pound fighter. Pedraza's never been considered one of the best in the division or one of the best boxers. Yo, Pedraza even became a stepping stone to where everybody done beat him up already. Pedraza's never been a real threat. Come on now. Punisher, Pedraza was his best win, in my opinion. I mean, Pedraza has to be his best win. That's the only reigning champion that he ever beat in his whole career. William P. Good morning, Jay Smith. Good morning, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Hash Bash, Sugar didn't fight Aaron Pryor. It doesn't matter. He didn't have to. For many years, they wasn't even in the same division. He didn't have to. All he had to do was fight the people that everybody demanded him to fight, and he did that. This guy moved up to fight Tommy Hearns. Like, he wasn't even going to box anymore. Moved up to fight Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the Destroyer. How many Hall of Famers he got in his resume that he beat? So, look, that's why I'm telling you, Hash Bass, you bring it up always the hater point of view. You bringing up who he didn't fight. But look at who he fought. Look at how many Hall of Famers he beat. So instead of bringing, oh, he didn't fight this guy, look at the Hall of Famers in his resume, my brother. You can't just keep hating on everybody without looking at the accomplishments. Sugar Ray Leonard is one of the greatest of all time, and you're bringing up somebody that he didn't fight. And look how interesting it is, Hashbash. You bring up one guy that you say he didn't fight. Why you never bring up the guys that Tank Davis hasn't fought? You don't bring them up. You don't say, well, Tank Davis didn't fight Shakur, and he's 30 years old. He didn't fight Teofimo. He's 30 years old. He didn't fight Devin Haney. But you're bringing up that Sugar Ray Leonard, a legend, one of the greatest of all time, that he didn't fight Aaron Pryor. Come on, bro. It's like the fighters that you don't support, you don't have to hate on them every time, my brother. You don't got to hate on everybody. Punisher. Barrios was drained as well. Tank put him on a rehydration clause. The audacity on Tank. He the one who went up to Barrios' division and did that weak shit. I mean, the rehydration clause, it's not a lot of people that's down with it. And there's also people who explain it away. They say things like, listen, Tank is a very short dude. So if he moved up, somebody told me that was their logic. He moved up to 140. He need a rehydration clause so that they won't be too big for him. Hash Bass. It's just my opinion, and Tank career isn't over. Nobody's saying that Tank career isn't over. But when you point out that Sugar Ray didn't fight Aaron Pryor, that's not an opinion. You're pointing out a fact that he didn't fight somebody. So why you point out the people that Sugar Ray didn't fight, and you're not pointing out the people that Tank Davis hasn't fought? He's 30 years old. By when are you going to fight the names? When do you fight them? How much time do you give him to fight somebody, bro? 30 years old? Come on, B. Tank is going to be 31 years old soon and still doesn't have any other big names in his resume. And you're talking about a fighter, a legend that's already retired who he didn't fight. Come on, bro. An all-time great. That's what makes you such a hater, my brother. Like, Sugar Ray Leonard is one of the greatest of all time. And Tank Davis don't got one single Hall of Famer in his resume. Don't have a single great fighter in his resume. Don't have a single one of the best of this era is not in Tank Davis's resume. And you're talking about an all-time great about a guy he didn't fight. Damn, bro. If you're going to hate on somebody that retired decades ago, talk about your man who's active right now. That's all I'm saying. Corey Wells. Sugar Ray was fighting 15 rounds back then. Sugar Ray is a legend, bro. That's a legend. You got to take a lot of hate to try to find somebody and say, well, he didn't fight this guy. Like, that's some hating shit, bro. That's real hating shit. But we digress, my peoples. We digress. Tank Davis hasn't signed his side of the contract. Lamont Roach already did. And if Tank don't rematch him, Shakur's already waiting to give him a title shot. A Boogie 616, Keyshawn versus Tank or Shakur versus Tank is the pass torch kind of fight. They don't want the chance to give him that first official L before he gets out of there. And look, Tank hasn't faced any of the best fighters, and he's already talked about retirement. He's already talked about leaving the sport of boxing without fighting these dudes. Like, come on now, are we serious? Rash, Sugar Ray made Hands of Stone say no mas. And the Hands of Stone is a Hall of Famer. See what I'm saying? Manos de Piedras Duran, that's a Hall of Famer. Accomplished, multi-division champion, unified champion. And Sugar Ray made him quit in their rematch. Not only made him quit, we have to remember, he lost the first fight. You know the type of champion and the type of heart it takes for you to lose a first fight, and in a rematch you make him quit? That's how you know what Sugar Ray was about, bro. That's how you know what Sugar Ray was about. Gave him a rematch and made him quit. There you have it. Let's keep it 100. Shy Guy, I never saw Sugar fought, but the fact his name is brought up to this day show his prowess. And listen, my brother, Shy Guy, I would say to you, please, my brother, please, at least after this live, go ahead and YouTube Sugar Ray Leonard highlights. At least check out the highlights, my brother. Because if you love the sport of boxing, Sugar Ray is a guy that you at least should see some of his highlights. So when we talking about him, you could chime in yourself about what you personally saw. And you know, you're going to be like, hell yeah. Not just because we bringing up the name, because you saw it too. So it don't take a lot of time. You could look up a 5-minute highlight video and check that out, and you know what Sugar Ray Leonard was about. Hash Bash. It's only one left in his division, and that's Shakur. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that Tank Davis cannot move up to fight anybody? He can only fight in his division? Because, you know, if you watch boxing and you've been watching boxing, then you should know that fighters move up to fight bigger names and bigger fighters all the time. He did move up to fight Barrios. You notice how you're cool with him moving up to fight Barrios, but now that we're talking about the best fighters, it's only one in his division. Can't fight nobody else. Come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Pancho Villa, facts, fam. Salute. Bam. I'm not a hater, just my opinion. I'm just hard on fighters. No, bro, you're a hater because you're hard on some fighters. You're hard on Shakur, but you're not hard on Tank. For Tank, you got excuses. You make up excuses out of thin air. Look, maybe he didn't sign the contract because he want to do something else. Like, you made that shit up out of thin air, bro. So you're not just hard on fighters. You're a hater because you're hard on some fighters. You're not hard on Tank. You got excuses for Tank Davis. Look what you just said. Oh, it's only Shakur in his division. Also, he can't move up to fight Devin Haney. He can't move up to fight Teofimo. He just stuck at 130. You watched him move up to fight Barrios. So you watch him move up to fight Barrios, but he can't move up to fight anybody else? Come on now. What are we talking about here? Let's be more realistic. Let's be more fair. Pancho Villa, fam, I've always said Tank Davis was a hype job. I mean, the dude hasn't even unified once in his life. Pancho Villa, is that what you're saying? Most of us, we know it, but Tank Davis fans, they got excuses for him. They got all the excuses in the world. Look, when I ask people, yo, Hash Bass just yesterday was telling me, nah, is that Shakur's not a big star? Shakur need to build it. Shakur, and I'm like, wait a minute, but Tank Davis is not fighting big stars. Tank Davis is not fighting guys that are filling out arenas. Tank Davis is not fighting guys that are doing big numbers in pay-per-view. A lot of the people never even seen Lamont Roach fight before he fought Tank Davis. So what are we talking about here? So Shakur needs to be a big star And a pay-per-view star to fight Tank, but all his opponents don't need to be? Come on now. Come on, man. We gotta understand what's really going on. Tank Davis is, I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. And this could be a controversial thing to say. Lamont Roach was a cherry pick gone wrong. Hold that. Hold that. He was a cherry pick gone wrong. He was supposed to get knocked out, but he didn't stick to the program and put the beats on Tank and got robbed. That draw was gifted to Tank Davis. We all know it. Let's keep it 100, my people. We all know it. That was a gift. That was a gift. My man's took a knee. That's a point deduction. Walked away, turned his back on his opponent. That's a TKO stoppage. His corner climbed the apron while the clock is ticking, wipe his face. That's grounds for disqualification. Come on, man. We watched the referee who stood there, 3 infractions right in front of him, back to back, and he stood there looking like a goofball. Like he didn't even know what to do. Now, if you told me, well, this is a brand new referee, he don't really know his job, he's learning, it's his first title fight, I'm like, okay, but this is a veteran referee that knows his shit. This dude started counting, bro, and then stopped out of nowhere. Come on now. Hash bash. Even though we enjoy the sweet signs, but we also enjoy the knockout. That's a fact. That's a fact, brother. We all enjoy the knockout. And we all enjoy the action-packed type of fight. That's the reason why Tank Davis is a big star the way that he is. That's why. He's not fighting the best, but he's knocking out a lot of the people that he is fighting. And people love a knockout. That made him a big star. That made him a huge star. But at the end of the day, we want to see him fight the best. And he's not doing that. And Tank Davis fans are not calling him to fight the best. If anything, they giving him excuses to not fight the best. Because when I ask people, why he don't fight Shakur Stevenson? Oh, well, Shakur's not a big star. Shakur not doing pay-per-views. Shakur's not bringing in the dough like that. Which one of his opponents is doing any of that stuff? Why are we setting that bar only for Shakur Stevenson? When his other opponents ain't doing pay-per-view numbers. His other opponents ain't filling up arenas. But Shakur needs to do all that so he could get a fight with Tank Davis. Come on, man. Come on, let's be real. The ill will. Tank fans didn't care he was fighting Roach when they thought he was a cherry pick. But now they worried about the rematch. I'm seeing Tank Davis fans telling me that it shouldn't be no rematch. Scared to death. That's how you know it's a hardcore fan base, when they scared to see a guy lose and they don't want him to fight a guy who they think is going to beat him. Scared to death. They don't want the rematch. And, anytime somebody says, I don't want Tank to do the rematch, they're a super hardcore Tank Davis fan. Nah, Tank Davis needs to move on already. You know that. You're a hardcore fan. Like, this is going to be... Right now, Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach is probably the most anticipated rematch in a long time. That's an anticipated rematch. What? A fight that ends in a draw? Fight that ends in controversy? Who's not going to want that rematch? Everybody wants it, except Tank Davis fans. They don't want the rematch. Corey Wells, Rocky versus Apollo Creed. That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy because they was calling Rocky a bum. He was no good. Apollo Creed was the star. And their first fight ended in a draw. If you didn't see Rocky... Oh, no. Didn't Apollo win the first fight? I think Apollo, didn't they rob Rocky of that first fight? I don't know, but Apollo had to give him the rematch. Oh, nah, Apollo won, but they had to rematch because everybody started siding with Rocky and shit. John Parham, Tank, I believe, feel and knows he needs a KO. I believe that too. I believe that Lamont Roach has the skill set to outbox Tank. And at this point, they're like, we're going to need a knockout to beat this guy. Sometimes a fighter just got your number, man. Sometimes a fighter just got your number, and I feel like Lamont Roach got Tank's number. For real. Punish him. If he's too small, then Tank should stay his whining ass at 135 or move the fuck down. The rehydration clause that isn't a fighter as isn't fighting guys at their best. So the thing is that Tank is stocky. You may or may not remember that he lost a title in the 130 division on the scales because he couldn't make weight and he lost his strap. So it's tough for him to make 130. And now that he's 30 years old, he's definitely not going to be able to make 130 comfortably. You know, he's going to have to starve himself, show up weak and all that. So we're never going to see Tank Davis fighting at 130 again. He has to fight at 135. Now, is he going to move up and fight at 140? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he won't. But that means he'll never fight any of the guys that were in his own division, and he allowed them to leave, and he never fought them. That's why his resume is what it is. 0 Hall of Famers, 1 reigning champion, and none of the best fighters in the division. His resume is just not there. For the kind of talent that Tank Davis has, he should have fought a lot more names than he has. But his fans are always going to give him a pass. And they're going to give him an excuse and a reason why he hasn't fought this guy and he hasn't fought that guy. Look, somebody said, nah, Shakur's the only one at 130, so he can't move up and fight nobody else. He moved up for Barrios, but he can't move up for nobody else. He cannot move up to 140 to fight other guys. He's stuck at 135 unless some other guy who wins a secondary title and it's not the best, he could move up to fight a guy like that maybe. That, you know, like. But again, my peoples, the whole point now is just to point out the fact that Shakur Stevenson is already on board with fighting Lamont Roach if Tank Davis don't give him the rematch. So imagine that. All the people who's knocking Shakur Stevenson, he ain't fought nobody, he don't want to fight this guy, he don't want to fight that guy. This guy might actually end up fighting Lamont Roach if Tank don't fight him. I'll put it to you like this. At this point, Tank Davis is on the hot seat. He might not want to sign that contract, but he already knows, damn, if I don't rematch Roach and Shakur fight him next and dominates him, I'm going to look bad. And I'm going to be on the hot seat. Because now there's going to be pressure for me to fight Shakur. Think about it. They know that. They know that on his team. If Shakur put the beats on Lamont Roach, what's that going to say about Tank? You fought life and death. You went to life and death. You was in a dogfight with Roach. And was gifted a draw. A controversial draw because they robbed that man of a knockdown. You should have lost that fight. And Shakur washes him, that's going to put Tank Davis on the hot seat. Now people really going to be calling for him to fight Shakur. Only Tank Davis hardcore fans are going to be like, nah, he don't got to fight Shakur. He don't got to fight Shakur because Shakur, you know, he's not selling out arenas and he's not a pay-per-view star. Tank don't got to fight him. But that's only Tank Davis fans. Everybody was going to be like, you need to go fight Shakur. Shy Guy, I have one time beating all these guys. One time Keith Thurman, he's at welterweight though. He's in the welterweight division. And actually, he fought at 154. His last fight was at 154, so. Or was it? It was either a welterweight or 154. I don't remember. But I will tell you, he needs to fight Boots. And Thurman is really on some duck language every time Boots' name come up. That's what I've seen so far. Raj, I'm not saying it'll happen, but if Roach wins, beats Shakur, what happens? I mean, if Roach, his star power is going to explode. His star power will explode, absolutely. I don't see it happening, to be honest. But if we're talking hypothetical, his star power is going to explode. Not only that, even if he loses to Shakur, he's gonna come out of that fight more famous. Why? Because they're gonna say, look, Tank has been ducking this guy for 2-3 years at this point. And Lamont Roach, who just moved up from the 130 division, was willing to fight Shakur. That shows you what type of fighter Lamont Roach is. Lamont Roach is literally that guy that's for all the smoke. No excuses. He's not going to tell you, well, Shakur's not going to give me this type of payday, or Shakur's not filling out arenas. He's about that smoke. He want to try to take that strap. You got to respect that. Let's see, Hashbaz, let's see the money is going to look with Shakur versus Lamont and see if Lamont agree with the paycheck. If not, they will call Lamont a duck. You see, my brother? That's where you come from the hater point of view. Focusing on the money. We not managers, my brother. We not promoters. It's only Tank Davis fans who's always bringing out the money. No, the money. Let's see the money. Let's see the money. No, my brother. We just want to see the fights. We're boxing fans. We love boxing. Let the promoters and the managers and the fighters worry about the money. Why are you worrying about the money? Now, if they negotiate and it doesn't work out, then we could talk about the money. But right now, why are you talking about the money? You're not Roach's manager. You're not Roach's promoter. Like I'm telling you, it's only Tank Davis fans who's always bringing out the money. Always bringing out the excuse. Hashbaz, Lamont, famous now because of Tank. Superman, Roach learning a lot. He got the number. Punisher, yeah, I know he can't make 130 comfortable, but he should stop whining. I don't see Pitbull whining, and he's smaller, and Pitbull went all the way up to 140. But that's the thing, yo. Fighters move up to higher divisions and fight bigger guys all the time. Tank Davis staying put at 135. Yeah, think about that. All the guys who came up with Tank are slowly moving up, and Tank's still stuck at that 135 division. What happened? Why you can't keep moving up like everybody else? You haven't seen the all-time greats, all of them? De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. You haven't seen all the great fighters just keep moving up and winning? Tank's stuck at 135. And his fans are like, yo, nah, he's at 135. Where's the greatness? Michael Rodriguez, Tank is a small guy. Manny Pacquiao was also a small guy. Went all the way up to 154. Well, that was a catchweight like at 152. 4 at welterweight. Won championships at welterweight. Manny Pacquiao. But you see, that's the difference with greatness and very good fighters. Very good fighters. Right now, Tank is not amongst the greats. See that? Manny Pacquiao, smaller than Tank, and went all the way to welterweight. But you see, that's a great champion. Tank Davis over there stuck at 135. And guys that are younger than him, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, they're in their 20s. And they already moved up in weight, fighting bigger opponents, fighting champions. Tank's still stuck at 135. Miguel Rodriguez, Manny was on steroids. You making that up out of thin air. Manny Pacquiao never tested positive, never felt to anything to do with steroids. That's only Manny Pacquiao haters who say that shit. Like, nobody really believe you. Nobody else is saying that but Manny Pacquiao haters. Like, I don't even know how y'all literally made that stuff up out of thin air. Like, how do you make something up out of thin air and talk about it like it's a fact? Like, if you was to say, I think Pacquiao was on steroids, cool. We can discuss it and see why you think that. But to state that Manny was on steroids like that's a fact, you're exposing yourself as a Manny Pacquiao hater. Because that is not a fact. You're not giving factual information. You're simply saying what you think. Crazy. Crazy work. Hashbaz, Frank Martin made a financial decision to fight Tank, and Shakur called him a duck, and his fans agree. Hashbaz, you're not talking to his fans. You're talking to us right here. Right here, nobody's calling Frank Martin a duck. Nobody's calling him a duck. I don't know who you're talking about. When you're talking to his fans, whoever they are, the fans that you're talking about, have that conversation. Nobody's saying that right here. Not one person said that. Punisher. Even Rolly moved up and he fighting a better and more dangerous Ryan than Tank. That's crazy for real. That's facts. Everybody that was at 135 already moved up. Everybody moved up. Everybody fighting bigger and better competition. Tank brought Lamont Roach from 130 to fight him. Come on. And by the way, Hash Bass, you're saying Tank started at 126. In case you didn't know, his first title was at 130 versus Pedraza. You could not name anybody that Tank fought at 126 unless you grab your phone and Google it. That's the funny thing. You try to discredit opponents for other fighters. Who Tank beat at 126? Don't ever say that again in your life. You don't know who he beat at 126. Stop it. Superman, Jay Smith. Tank has skills, but he's on a yo-yo matchmaking at his best. They're staying away from Core and the rest of the fighters. That's a fact. Listen, Tank is a very, very talented fighter. Very good boxer. Good ring IQ. The most power in the division. One of the best counter punchers in the game. Tank has a lot of attributes. If he was to lose to Shakur Stevenson, that's not going to make him... I'm not going to say he's a hype job or he's a bum, because I'm not part of this new social media era boxing fans. I'm not. If he was to lose to Shakur, I'm still going to respect him. I'm still going to be like, yo, Tank is that dude. Tank is that dude. He's still one of the top fighters. But that's the point. We have to acknowledge the fact that he's not fighting any of the best. Because he's not fighting any of the best, that's why his fans like Hash Baz got to keep talking about Shakur throughout the whole live. Nobody else is talking about that. Nobody else is talking about Shakur. But Tank fans, they want to bring up Shakur, but they don't want to bring up who Tank fought. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about everything else except that Tank ain't fighting no champions. Everything except that. We're talking about Tank Davis and Lamont Roach and how Tank Davis hasn't signed that contract for that rematch. And my man's been bringing up Shakur since this live started. Why? Because he don't want to talk about Tank's ducking ways. Simple as that. Corey Wells. I was watching boxing in the 80s and 90s. And was boxing since I was 14. Shy Guy. We want Shakur versus Tank. Strength versus defense. Of course, the boxer versus the puncher. That's a classic matchup. We've seen that throughout the history of boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. That was that type of fight. The boxer versus the puncher. We've seen that so many times. And we want to see it again. But Tank Davis don't want to fight him. Tank Davis, no matter how many questions and comments Hash Bass has about Shakur, Tank don't want to fight him. Scared to take that L. A Boogie 616. Keyshawn has the potential to be the cash cow. He does. Keyshawn is an exciting fighter. He's the type of fighter that every time he steps in the ring, you know you're going to enjoy the show. So he's definitely one of them guys who he'll be one of those main characters in boxing. Because that's the thing that we have to understand. When you say the face of boxing, that's simply the guy who's the most widely recognized. That's what gives Canelo the face of boxing stamp. You know, on the world stage, you could show a picture of Canelo to somebody who's never watched a boxing match, and they might be able to say, yeah, that's Canelo. Never even seen a boxing match, and they can tell you who that is. That's what makes you the face of boxing. The same thing with Floyd Mayweather. There's people who never seen a boxing match, who don't know nothing about boxing, but they could tell you who Floyd Mayweather is. That's what makes you the face of boxing. But the face of boxing doesn't mean other people are not main players in the game. There's a lot of other people who are also widely recognized, and they're part of the main characters. Corey Wells, Tyson versus Lewis. Damn, that was a crazy fight. But at that time, Tyson's personal life had already gone downhill. I actually expected him to lose that fight. Troy, and then Tyson, he had problems with real tall fighters like that. As he started getting older and losing them tall guys that was able to catch him from the outside, he had problems with those type of opponents. Shy Guy, the monster has more resume than Tank, of course. Now you know he has a way, but he's beating more champions than Tank. Is that at this point, yo, almost everybody that's at that top level has a better resume than Tank. If you look at Dimitri Bivol, he got a better resume. If you look at Arthur Beterbiev, he had a better resume. If you look at AJ, he has a better resume. He's a two-time champion by beating two reigning champions. A lot of people have a better resume than Tank. That's why Tank Davis fans, they talk about everybody else's opponents, but they don't talk about Tank's opponents. Because Tank resume, for the level of talent that Tank Davis has, his resume sucks. His resume's whack. You're looking at the crop of fighters that came up with Tank Davis that are younger than him, and they all have a better resume than him. Teofimo Lopez has a better resume than Tank. He's more accomplished. Devin Haney has a better resume than Tank. He's more accomplished. These guys are in their 20s. Tank Davis is about to be 31 years old. Shakur Stevenson is more accomplished than Tank Davis, 27 years old. So guys that are younger are fighting better, more accomplished fighters. That's the reality. Of course Devin has a better resume. Devin was already undisputed in one division, moved up to the next division and became a champion, and is a reigning champion by beating a champion. It's as simple as that. Hash Bass, on some real shit, I appreciate you allowing me to express my opinion, and when I did that on Champions, he blocked me, and good looking for that. Oh, listen, my brother, first of all, salute to you for coming up in here and expressing your opinion. You know why? Because I always tell everybody. First of all, Hash Bass, I got love for you, my brother. Salute. I always tell everybody, I don't want everybody to agree with me. I want people to say their own opinion, what they really believe. So I actually appreciate you that you come up in here and say what you actually believe. And we could even trash talk with each other and all that. And I never disrespected you. You never disrespected me, my brother. We just say how we see it. And we call it how we see it. And that's what this live is about. That's why a lot of people jumped on this live and they saw what's going on. They're like, yeah, I'm going to rock with Jay. Because at the end of the day, for having a different opinion than mine, I'm never going to block you, my brother. I'll never block anybody just because we have a different opinion. In fact, I've been on another channel, I'm not going to say no names, where somebody had a different opinion and the host is like, oh, you don't know shit about boxing. Oh, you don't know shit. I'm like, God damn, over a different opinion? Shit. So nah, my brother, I appreciate you coming up in here and expressing how you feel about it. Salute. Corey Wells. That's what happens when you cherry pick. That's the problem. Superman, that's what's up. DeSoto Hybrid, Southpaw. I'm not naming no names. Jiu-Jitsu Jedi. Other channel is Fanon. Shy Guy, damn. Nah, you know, I'm not going to name drop. I'm not going to say anybody. But I've been on a couple of channels where it's like, you either agree with the host or they're going to shit on you. They're going to block you out of the channel and everything. And it's like, nah. That's not what this is about, my people. This is about real boxing fans debating about boxing. And how the hell are we going to debate about boxing if we all agree with the same shit? If we all have the same point of view? It would be a real boring conversation if we all like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. This live would have finished after 10 minutes. We all agree already. What the hell are we going to talk about? So that's the point. We need to talk what we really mean, what we really think. We're not going to have the same opinion. Sometimes we're going to agree. Sometimes we're going to say stuff and we all agree on it. And sometimes we're going to disagree, my people. That's what make a good debate. Shy Guy, I like your channel because you're knowledgeable. I appreciate it, my brother. Corey Wells, what happened to fighters fighting hungry fighters? I mean, let's see what happens with the MMA with Dana White and His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. They're saying they're going to make the best fight the best. Let's see how that plays out. Rash, I started arguing and now I'm a mod. Yo, I'm trying to tell you, my brother, we're all here because we love the sport of boxing. And if you love the sport of boxing, then you're in on a good debate. And we'll debate, we'll argue, we trash talk, but at the end of the day, if we do it respectfully, we gonna keep it going. That's how we do. That's how we do. Because if you think about it, and that's kind of like the atmosphere that I try to have up in Box Center. Remember when you was in front of a building or in front of your house or wherever it was, arguing, boxing with your boys? And we trash talk each other. Man, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about, B? You don't even know what you're talking about. You a hater. And we go back and forth with our people in person. We doing it right here. It's the same atmosphere. It's all love, my peoples. It's all respect. John Parham, like up, my peoples. Yeah, no doubt, my peoples. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe. Y'all already know, man. Corey Wells, I just subscribed and I like for sure. Appreciate you, my brother. Salute. Because I'm telling y'all, we hit the 1,000 subscribers a few days ago. And, next stop is 2,000 and we headed for the 1,000,000. Box Center is going to be the #1 live. And wait till tomorrow when y'all see me calling these fights. When y'all see me calling these fights, that's when you're going to see something new. You're going to be like, God damn, I never seen nobody calling a fight like that. That's how Jay Smith doing it. Y'all going to see. So tune in because tomorrow I'm going to be calling Sky Nicholson versus Tiara Brown. I'm going to be calling the Cambozas fight. That card, I'm expecting it to be early. I don't know what time is it yet, Eastern time, because it's in Australia, so I know it's going to be early. And then later at night, I'm going to be calling the Fundora fight. Calling all that shit tomorrow. Asiel Espinosa. Métele en español también. Hey, vamos a un programita en español. Stay tuned for that. Love More Hinduism. You think Spence come back? To be honest, bro, I don't think Errol Spence is going to come back. And I don't think he should come back. And I'm going to tell you why. Take into account the beating that he took from Bud Crawford. And I'm going to just ask everyone in here, 20 of you, I'm going to ask you guys. I want you to think about this. After Errol Spence got beat up by Terrence Crawford, have you really seen him talking? Like in a conversation or in an interview or posting a video where he's just normally talking? Just think about that. I believe that he took some type of damage from Terrence Crawford that affected him. It had a toll on him. And if I'm right, then he shouldn't be fighting again. Because the right punch could change his life forever. So I said it before. I hope that he's able to keep his money, that he made some good investments, generational wealth, and that he doesn't ever have to fight again. Because if he has to fight for money and he gets hurt, that's going to be fucked up. That's going to be messed up. So I don't want to see Errol Spence get hurt. I don't want to see that. Ozzy, yo, bro, your last stream, what were all those medals? Those are actually from running. They're not from boxing. Those from running. I'm a runner. I run a lot. So I run in a lot of events. 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers, and 42 kilometers. Full marathons. I've actually ran 10 full marathons at this point. Punisher. Yeah, I agree. A little debate never hurt nobody, so let's get it started. I think Shakur got pillow hands. Now I scratch that. I think he got marshmallow hands. My peeps. Listen, it's fair to say that, and I understand why you say that because Shakur's not a knockout artist. And we know his hands got hurt a few times. But my response to that is, they used to say the same thing about Floyd Mayweather. Everything that they say about Shakur now, they say it about Floyd Mayweather. So all you reminding me is that Shakur's going to be that dude. Ozzy, boxing is basically semi-pro boxing. They got to run all the time. The ill will. Ratch, Ozzy's back. Sup, bro? Punisher. I'm just messing, just trying to talk shit. Nah, listen, a lot of people say Shakur got them pillow hands. He winning the fights. He walking out there with the W versus everybody. And Tank Davis ducking him. Because he know he going to walk out of there with an L. Love More Hinduism. Can't lie. Floyd had more pop. I mean, you could say Floyd had more pop, but look at the knockout percentage. The overwhelming majority of Floyd's knockout came early in his career, and a lot of them knockouts was versus guys who you never heard of and you never will hear about. Like literally, the janitors, the burger flipper from Wendy's, guys like that. But the names that Floyd fought, most of those fights went the distance. He knocked out Ricky Hatton. That was a great stoppage. He had a few stoppages of good fighters. But the overwhelming majority of fights where Floyd fought a name, it went the distance. Miguel Cotto went the distance. Zab Judah went the distance. Sugar Shane Mosley went the distance. Oscar De La Hoya went the distance. Manny Pacquiao went the distance. Floyd didn't stop any of the guys that he faced that was like up there like that. He went the distance with them. And that's not a knock on Floyd, because at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. That's what boxing is about. Wins and losses. Did you win? Did you lose? Hash Bass. I think Spence will come back. I think they're trying to figure out his proper weight, either 160 or 168. But then think about it. That would mean that he fought at 147, Bud Crawford, and that he'll jump up, 3, 4 weight divisions for his next fight? After all of this inactivity? I don't know, bro. I don't know. It doesn't look good. Ratch, Spence got to slow down on the partying, though. He actually posted about that, I think, on Twitter. And look at that. Errol Spence, by the way, I used to follow him on Instagram. He was always posting on Instagram. And now, when he posts, what he posts? On Twitter. Words. No more videos from Errol Spence where he's talking to the camera and talking to the people after losing to Crawford. There's something behind that. I believe there's something behind that. Time will tell y'all why I'm Jay Stradamus. With time, we're going to find out what's going on with Errol Spence in here after he took that beating. And y'all going to be like, damn, Jay used to say that shit. Errol Spence is not right. He's not doing good. And you're going to find out. Ozzy, people forget that Spence was a problem. Oh, no doubt. You got to remember, Errol Spence is a guy who won 3 belts by beating 3 reigning champions. No vacant titles, no email titles. He got them the hard way. So that's a fact. Corey Wells, his biggest problem was with Zab Judah. Yeah, Zab gave him problems. He made him put a hand on the canvas that should have been a knockdown, and it wasn't scored the knockdown. Punisher. I left for a bit. I don't know if you read my last comment where I said I'm just messing about Shakur and I'm trying to talk shit. Oh yeah, I seen that, my brother. I seen that. And we all for the smoke. We all for the shit talking. Hash Bass. In the beginning of Shakur's career, his skills level was way above his opponent, but didn't put them away. That's why I question him. But that's the thing, my brother, is that you don't got to put opponents away. You just got to beat them. That's what it's all about. You just have to beat them. It's not, we could look at how you beat somebody and we can criticize it, but it's not about how you do it. It's about, because remember this, right? Box rec, when you look at the box rec, what is the box rec recording? Wins and loses. Wins, loses, draws, and no contest. It's not recording how you beat them. It's not, the history books don't record, yo, that was an ass whooping, and nah, it's wins and losses. Because look at Floyd Mayweather. He fought Oscar De La Hoya to a split decision, edged out a split decision, never gave him a rematch. History doesn't record that. History's only going to record that he beat Oscar De La Hoya. That's it. That's it. It's only Floyd Mayweather haters that are going to be like, yeah, but he didn't do this and he didn't do that. But at the end of the day, the history books don't record that. It's all about who won the fight, who lost the fight. Ratch, Punisher, he read it. Love more Hinduism. Don't tell Ego that. Don't tell Ego what, my brother? Punisher, Ratch. Ozzy, it's crazy because Shakur might be able to stop Lamont Roach. He has the style to overwhelm him. I mean, we got to keep this in mind. Lamont Roach has only 1 loss in his entire career. And who did he lose to? Y'all remember? Does anybody in here know who Lamont Roach lost to? Lamont Roach lost his only defeat to Jamel Herring. The same Jamel Herring Shakur stopped in 10 rounds. That's the thing. When people talk about Shakur, they focus on the performances that were not that good, that they didn't like. But the performances that were spectacular, they erase it from their memory like those didn't exist. Shakur stopped Jamel Herring, and it was a thorough beating for 10 rounds. A beatdown. And that's the guy who beat Lamont Roach. Make that what you will. The Ill Will one, Ryan versus Haney. I saw who the fight, but records will show different. That's the point. But you got to understand that that's a controversial situation because of the steroid thing. So it's not really fair to bring that one up because the decision, Ryan did win the fight. It was just overturned because of the steroids. But when the fight finished, Ryan was announced the winner. He had to win in the box rec. And the win was overturned because of the steroid situation. So when you talk about a situation where it was overturned, that's not the norm. How many fights in the history of boxing have had the results overturned? That's not something that happens every day, my brother. We haven't seen that too many times. Hash Bass, he punished Gotti and Diego. Speaking on Mayweather, he gave Gotti a brutal beating. The same with Diego Corrales, a brutal beating. Brutal. John Parham, let's go to 25. The Ill Will, true. We got 22 likes, my peoples. 3 more and we get to 25. But not and what about what Floyd Mayweather did to Ricky Hatton? Set him up for a nasty right hand. Boom! Had Ricky Hatton looking like he was having a seizure. Had him in the floor looking stiff. Love More Hinduism. Spencer's done. I believe he's done. And you know, if I'm wrong and he's in good shape up here, then I'm all in for him fighting and proving himself. If he wants to prove himself that he could win titles in another division or whatever, I'm all in for it. But honestly, I believe that he's not up there. Something's wrong. And I believe that they specifically keeping him away from the cameras so the fans don't see it. I truly believe that, my peoples. We're talking about a guy who was very, very active on social media. Ever since taking that beating, look, when have you seen Errol Spence even talking? He don't even talk on camera. Ozzy, people say Floyd ducked Khan. I don't know. I don't think Floyd ducked him. I think that, you know, Floyd and Khan came up in a different era. Floyd was already way, way washed up when Khan was coming up. So I don't even think that's fair to say. When a fighter is damn near 40 years old, asking him to go fight a kid that's in his early 20s and on a tear, that's not even fair. That's crazy. Khan was a faster version of Zab Judah. John Parham, Khan was solid for sure. Look, Khan was a very good fighter, a champion, legit champion, but that defense was always weak. That defense was weak. Like, I'll give you an example. If Amir Khan would have fought a prime Zab Judah, I believe he gets knocked out. Brutally. Brutally. But he, you know, legit champion. I got mad respect for Khan. And he was that guy that was in for all the smoke. He wanted to fight everybody. I couldn't, when he chose to move up to fight Canelo, I couldn't even believe it. Like, damn, Amir Khan's gonna fight Canelo? What the? But he did. He lost. He lost to Canelo, got knocked out, in brutal fashion. But he went for it. That's the thing, man. There's fighters that they just got that heart and they want to fight everybody. They want to take the risk. And sometimes they lose. Tank don't want to fight everybody. He don't want to take that risk. He don't want to risk losing. Troy back. Errol will be back on top again. That's what boxing is all about. I don't know, my brother. You being super optimistic with Errol Spence. After taking that type of beating, he's been inactive for how many years? And remember, Errol Spence right now, he is about 35 years old. For you to think that a 35-year-old who's been inactive for a couple of years and left boxing with a horrible beating is just going to be back on top again, that's a tough ask, my brother. That's a real tough ask. That's difficult. Errol Spence is not 28 years old anymore. He's not 29 years old. He's in his mid-30s, bro. It's hard to come back from inactivities in your mid-30s to go to the top. So you're real optimistic about that, man. I don't know. I don't see that. I really don't see it. Hey, Boogie 616. If Floyd came up in this era, he's still spanking everybody. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. But I'm also gonna say with the same kind of matchmaking that he was making back then, waiting this guy for a couple of years before fighting him, waiting that guy for a couple of years, waiting for this guy to take his beating first, doing little things here and there to make sure he had a little bit of an edge when they face each other. Ozzy, Brady Prescott gave Crawford a good fight. Hell yeah. That was a good fight. But ultimately, Crawford did what he does. But that was a good fight. Competitive. Troy back. I'm telling Errol it's a great fighter. Oh, that's a fact. Errol Spence is a great fighter. But you got to understand, you're saying it as in the present. He is a great fighter. Right? But as far as activity, he's been out for a long time. And for him to just come back and go to the top, the odds are highly stacked against him. He's not just going to come back. And what division is he going to come to? People think he's going to come back to 160 or 168. You think he could come back to 168 and fight somebody, one of the champions over there? I don't know. I don't know, brother. I think that Errol Spence is a great fighter, had a great run. Like I say, he beat 3 champions to get them 3 belts. So you got to give him his credit. But I don't know, man. I don't see Errol getting to the top again. Not with all of this inactivity and his age. My people, listen up. I'm about to get the hell out of here. We're about to end this live. Before I do, I want to give a shout out to Troy Back, Ozzy. Want to give a shout out to my boy John Parham, A Boogie 616, Hash Bass, my guy. Appreciate you coming through, giving your opinion. Everybody who's showing love to Box Center, everybody who hit that like button, everybody who subscribed. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm going to be back on tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be live. We're going to be talking boxing. We're going to be trash talking, all that good stuff, man. Jay Smith in the building. This is Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. I'm going to see y'all later tonight, my peoples. Bam.